All right. Well, hello. I'm a little early, as usual, because I'd like to go over some of the items that I have, so that way we can get started on painting right at 3:30. So, this is a recorded class, just so you know. So if you're not able to actually come on in today, which I'm going to check, see, don't see anybody. All right, that's fine. But anywho's, this is a recorded class. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. And it will be streamed on our channel later on. So if you aren't able to make it in today and join us live, not to worry, you'll be able to watch this later. So my name's Beth Gaff, and I'm with the Peabody Public Library. I am the head of systems here at the library. I do a lot of stuff here at the library. So I teach technology, I teach robotics, and we have robotic sessions here. A lot of what I do is technology based. However, I also enjoy being able to bring you virtual classes. I do know that we can't always make it into programs and things going on here at the library, and I don't want anybody to miss out on things that are fun and enjoyable. So I make sure that we can have some virtual programming. So today is our virtual painting class, and all of our paintings that I use come to us from Step by Step Painting, and that's a website online. So you can just go to Google and search Step by Step Painting, and it's going to bring up an awesome website that has tons of free paintings classes. She has videos on there to show you how to do them, as well as the stencils I post. All of the materials are on there and so forth. So I really love the step-by-step painting class. I think it makes it easy. It's, for me as a teacher, it makes it easy. I can just go in, pick things that we can do. But as a student, then it's free to you, so you're able to go on and continue doing other classes that we may not get to. So today we are painting this. Don't mind the, there we go. Today we're going to attempt to paint this. So keep in mind that just because this, let me fold it. Just because this painting is a turquoise, you can change all of your colors. So you could make this background pink and white if you wanted and make the flowers yellow, red, something along those lines. You can make it purple and white. You could do it maroon and white. You can do this painting any way you want. That's what's so great about this, is that you can pick your colors, do it how you want. That's why it's posted ahead of time for you. And then I try to include any kind of stencil that may be there that she has for us. So these are stencils that you could use using your carbon paper, which again, I still didn't go get my carbon paper, so I had to make a sheet. But all it is pencil on one side, and it's really easy to maintain. I am not going to be tracing these on with stencils today. I'm just going to freehand these because there's just 3 of them, and they don't seem too terribly difficult, and I will try to guide us through it. But if you feel more comfortable, you can use the stencils provided. You may have to make them smaller. It just depends on the canvas size that you've chosen to use. I'm using an 8x10, so because of that, mine are not going to be this big. But if you're using an 11x16 or 14x16 or something along those lines, you may want those that big. So that's completely up to you. So I have, let me get us out here and flip us. So I have all of my paint caddies. And I'll tell you, this really is the best way to kind of paint. That way you don't really have to worry about getting those particular colors. As long as you're close in color, you're good to go. And these paints, I just get these at Walmart and they're like 60 cents. I pay like 60 cents for a 2-ounce tube or whatever this is. Yeah, a 2-ounce tube. And then I just buy them in rainbow colors. So I have about every color there is. And then that way I always have the colors I want, especially since I paint a lot and I have painting parties all the time. So I always have a lot of caddies over there's all my paint stuff, and I have caddies going on. I do have my hair dryer today, so I can dry things a little bit faster. I've got 3 brushes. I've got my large brush, my medium brush, and my pointy brush. I teach, as I mentioned earlier, and we've been reading a book, and I've been allowing them to decorate a cabinet. So they had some leftover paint, so I'm going to use some of that up. But I would have my paint tray ready for some kind of paint. I've got my canvas. I've got paper towels. So I'm basically ready to go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do, excuse me, I'm going to use my big brush, and I'm gonna try to do this the best that I can by holding this and seeing if that helps so you're not just staring at me all the time. But I'm gonna go ahead and grab white, and then I'm going to grab whatever other color I want to use for my background. Turquoise is by far one of my more favorite colors. So I am going to be using the turquoise, but I'm gonna flip us around while I get my paints in order and I make sure that I'm good with it's been sitting here for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and just get my paint together. So I'm just getting white, and I'm getting whatever, I've got this turquoisey color. So whatever other color I want to use with it is what I'm going to do. So let me flip this back around. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my biggest brush I've got here, and I'm just going to do for the moment, because it looks like it's spread out. And let me flip my sheet. So I'm going to make my edges a little bit darker. So I'm going to kind of just start here by working with my edges. So let's go ahead and just start by using that primary color, no white, and just doing our corners. Now, don't forget that just like that. Don't forget that even though these are canvas panels, they do still have sides on them. So we do want to grab those where we've put this dark color. So I'm just going along the edges and painting those. But right now I'm just painting my corners, and I'm just kind of bringing it out, kind of like a sunshine, if you will, just an array of blue or whatever color you've chosen. And I would love to see these, by the way. So if you are watching these classes and doing these paintings, I would love to see them. So you can send them to me via email, and I'm just grabbing my sides because I know I've got them. So now I'm going to do kind of a half and half. So I'm going to do half of my color, my primary color, and then half of my white. So I should have a half and half. And from these centers, I'm just going to start pulling out even more. And I'm just gonna keep going back and getting that. Now, if I notice that I'm getting a little bit darker than what I wanna be, then you can substitute that more for the white. So we're just gonna start pulling those out, and actually, I'm just gonna grab white alone now because I do have so much blue. And I'm just gonna take these arrays, and I'm gonna start filling those in. They remind me of rays, that's why I say that. And I'm still just grabbing my white, 'cause it's already mixing with this blue, so I don't really need that half and half like I thought, so I apologize for that. So we're strictly using white, so we can get these colors blended nicely. And again, don't forget your sides. Okay. Now I'm gonna kinda let that dry for a second. And I can actually start to blend some of this in the corners so it doesn't look like paint, you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna, while it's still wet, I'm just gonna go ahead and try to fill up some of that area. And we can always go back in and make those corners dark again. But now I have more of what looks like an array or arrays coming through of the white. And I'm just grabbing white right now. But because I have the blue already in here, it blends it very nicely. And you can just kind of play with your colors and see what is working for you better. I'm going to go ahead and put some of this darker back in and back into my corners. I still have some white on my brush, and that's okay. Sometimes it's better to work with some of this while it's still wet. So now I'm just going to pull that back in. And if I notice I need that white, I'm going to go back in and get it. Okay. Kind of digging it. I'm just kind of spooning it out. I mean, you could just keep doing this over and over, but we don't have that kind of time for class today. We have an hour, so we got to get this done in an hour. But I'm pretty content with that. I think it looks pretty decent. I am gonna grab just a little bit more white so I can get a white, a white look in there. But once you are done with that, then we just kind of need to wait for this to dry. So that's going to be where your hair dryer is going to come into play. This painting is probably one of the more easier paintings. So if you've never painted before, this is a really good beginner painting. So I can just kind of blast it however I want, because you want to make sure you get this where you want it though, because once it dries, we're going to be painting over it. So you're not going to be able to go back in and fix it. So you want to get it where you want it now. So that's what I'm going with. Still kind of like how they've made these edges a little darker though. I'm trying to fill that back in a little. It's really how you want to do it. As mentioned, this is your painting, so I'm just going to darken it up a little. All right, so I'm going to flip this back around because now I put my brush in my water. I do have a water cup. Now I'm going to take my hair dryer and I'm going to go ahead and get this dry. And once it's dry, I can kind of decide, which side might work better for me. Like right now I have it facing this way, but maybe if I turn it, I might like that way it looks better. So, and then we're going to start our branches after we get this all dry. So you're going to want to get some black paint, and we're going to use black and white. And I'm just drying my canvas right now. So I've got my background done. And even after you dry it, if you want to make it a little bit more white, you just want to get all of that background that you want to get done before you start painting your tree or the branches. So what I really like about being able to do these paintings is this is just kind of my thing. I'm an artsy type of person, and this is just kind of my escape, I guess, and I'm bringing you guys all with me on my escape, um, to have some stress-free time, some relaxation time, even if it is only for 1 hour a month, it's still nice. So hopefully people are watching these and hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I know I've been enjoying them. So right now I'm just drying my painting. I've done my background and now I'm just drying it. I don't think anybody's joined us, but let me check. Nope, just me and you when you watch it later. Oh, so for the most part, this is pretty dry. There might be some spots that aren't. Okay. So I am going to now take my medium brush and I'm just going to kind of do some paint all over me. I'm just going to try to do some, got it all over the table or all over my, just some touch up. Sorry, I keep trying to spit it out. It's not coming. I'm going to do some touch up. So I'm just grabbing some of my whites and I'm just going to kind of come in here and give it some more. See if I can, if anything changes on it, but it doesn't look like it's going to. So now is the time. If you want to do any kind of touch ups, you want to do them now because once we start working on our branches, it's going to be a lot more complicated to try to get the colors in the way you want. So I just did more of a little bit of a blast of it. Yeah, like this way. Okay. Let me get this paint off my fingers before I touch it. I'm making a mess. I should have probably put an apron. I'm realizing that now. Okay. Let me flip this back around here. All right, so now we are ready to try our branches, and I am going to use my medium brush, so not too big, not too tall, and I'm actually going to do it flat, so not sideways, but flat. And I've dipped it into my black, and now I'm just going to decide where I want those branches to be. So I'm going to come out here flat or on my flat, not my side, and I'm just going to kind of do some lines. And you can put those however you'd like. We'll use the pointy brush to get the smaller ones. And now I'm going to come up because they have it coming out now. So I'm going to come up from here and do the same thing. And I can probably thicken that up a little bit. But I'm just doing it side. Yeah. And we will get a pointy brush to get some of those smaller ones that are coming off of it. But I'm going to go ahead and put another coming off. It's picking up some of my white already, so. And then and of course, once you do this, now we can just kind of start guiding it, painting it in, making it look, better. And then they've put on even a third one coming off of the top here. So we'll just do the same thing. And once you get your branches the way you want them, we can use more of that pointy brush to fill them in. So now I am painting, I'm just painting in what I've already put out here and filling it in. Putting that in. So now I'm going to use my pointy brush, and I'm still using that black, but now I can come in and do some smaller branches coming off of it. And fix any errors. This is a good time to do that. Paint it in darker. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn myself back around. Sorry, you're going to have to stare at me for a minute, but I'm going to just work on my branches. And I find it's a little easier to do when I'm not necessarily holding phone, but I'm going to try to do it quickly. So you're not just having to sit there and stare. But while I'm doing that, I'm also going to fix some of these other ones, and now I can see I need black. Okay. And you can just kind of put these little branches anywhere you want coming off of here. There's really no right or wrong. That's what I like about these classes, is that there's just no right or wrong. We're just de-stressing and having fun painting. And that's what it's all about. So and I will show you where I'm at here. Turn you around. So I'm just adding in those branches, those little branches, and you can put them, pretty much wherever you want. And while I'm adding them, I'm fixing and darkening what I've already put out here. And they're just like wiggly lines. There's really no right or wrong to it. It's just obviously the thinner your brush is, um, the smaller it's gonna be as far as width of lines. And we all know trees are not perfect. So having one shorter than the others doesn't really matter because trees are not perfect. Now I'm just kind of coming in here and painting what I've already put out there. And we can thicken some of this up. Add it wherever, really. And what's nice is depending on what color flowers you choose to put on this, the more stems you have, the fuller it can be. Okay. Right. Let me see about this. Okay. So you can just really add this anywhere you want. You can have it coming straight off there. It's kind of blended though, so it doesn't just look like a line that's come off there. So, and keep in mind that we spend a lot of time doing this and we're just going to cover it up. You're going to be covering it up with those flowers. So this is really just for the effect after the flowers are on there. Sorry. Just for the effect of it. So I am pretty content with my branches, so I'm gonna kinda leave them like that, and now I'm going to dry it a little bit, so I'm gonna flip us back around here. And, I'm just gonna use my hair dryer, and I'm gonna start working on drying this. Oh, before we dry it, sorry. Before we dry it, we need to give it some accent. So, I'm gonna flip us back around, and we're gonna use some of that white. So I still have white left from when I did my colors. And now we're just gonna kinda and you don't want a whole bunch, but we're gonna just kinda randomly come in here and give it some accent. We can see that, and it's a little dark for me, but that's okay because if you do it while it's wet, then it looks a little bit more natural, and we can spread that out because it's wet. But what it's doing is it's giving you that if you can see there, they have, like, giving it some cast of some shadowing. So that's what we're doing now is just casting a little bit of a shadow on this, which turns it gray, and that's perfectly fine. That's exactly the color we want. And if at any time you don't like the way it's looking, you can always just stick with that. Dang it. You can always just stick with that, black. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to try it for those of us that do want to do it, and I got blue in this. So, that's alright. What's nice about black is it covers everything, and it'll pull out my gray for me too. It's a win-win. So I'm just kinda going over my branches with a little bit of white to give it some accent. It's hard to see in this light, but got some accent throughout. And I'm just gonna do that to all of these. And it does make it a slight gray color, and that's what we want. Because it's just casting a shadow. It's just casting. And this we can just thin that out. And doing the last one. And we're just running color over it, so perfection doesn't even matter because we're just running the color over it for that accenting. And as long as it's still a little bit wet, we're gonna get that gray. Okay. Totally content with that. All right, so now I'm gonna pick my colors for my flowers. They're using the pink and the white. So we're gonna do our flowers first. So I'm also gonna grab a pink because it is, they just got done doing the Cherry Blossom Festival, I do believe, not too long ago. So, okay. I'm still gonna use my pointy brush and I'm gonna use my pink and the white. I'm gonna start with some pink. And on my edges here, and actually if your canvas is kind of wet and I do see some black, you might want to go ahead and dry that off so you don't get black in your flowers. We're going to be on the edges, so as long as your edges are dry. Okay. So I'm going to use my pink and I'm just going to go along my edges and I'm just going to dab. Starting with my pink. And I can take that down as far as I need to. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of white and just kind of cap that off with some white. And I'm going to do all of my edges that way. And it looks like they may even have actual flowers. And you can kind of have them going wherever. They have a darker color too. So let me grab a maroon. This is like a barn color, like a barn red. Oh, wait. It's not. This is a barn red color. That would go excellent with this. Still using that point brush. And I'm just going to come in here and just do some random. I've got a few different colors going on. So I'm going to do that along all of my, and you can decide, maybe some of them have a little bit more white. So like this one, I'm going to go ahead and make it more of the white with just a little bit of pink. And maybe it doesn't have any maroon at all. So you can totally decide how you want yours to be. And you're just doing that along all of your edges. Now here I can make this one an actual flower. So it kind of looks more like a flower. But that's what we're going to do. I'm going to put you down here so you can do it. And I'm going to work on mine. And most, just about all of them have something on there. So like I mentioned earlier, we spend a lot of time doing this just to cover it up. And that's exactly what we're doing right now, covering it up. So now I'm going to grab some of this maroon, kind of actually coming out like a brown, but I've got this pink. So I've got all kinds of spring-like colors. And the only reason why I'm not adding any yellow in this is because I'm going to use my yellow for the butterflies. So if you want to go around and start with one color, you can do that. Or if you want to do, two colors, however you want to do it. what I like about paintings like this is that, it really is our own. So here's where I'm at. And actually it's okay, so we're just going to do that on all of these. So it just depends on how many branches you put out there, how much of this you're going to have. And don't forget, you may want to have some that are kind of dropping down because they do drop. It was really windy today when I went out for lunch. They were talking about, somebody had posted something about tornado warnings in places. That's kind of scary. So, you can have some branches that don't have anything on them if you want to. That's totally up to you. Nothing says that you have to have that. So, just working my way around. And I'm also just going to put like some random ones out here because I'm sure they're going to be falling from, you know, trees. All right, I'm going to flip us. So I think I can finish. I think I can finish most of this while you are watching me do it. So I'm just coming in here and dabbing. And I'm even bringing some down. So I've got some kind of doing their own thing. And might want to note a little bit more white. There really is no right or wrong. So, I mean, feel free to do it however you feel you want to. That one I could probably make into a flower. So, so really, it's however you would like to do it. right, well, I'm gonna finish these up. We can move on to bigger and better things here. Because as you can see, we could spend a long time just doing this. Trying this brownish color, but not as pretty as I thought it was going to be. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so I am going to dry this. Oh, I'm going to dry this off and get ready for my butterflies. For time. Okay. Doing good, doing good. All right, I'm kind of in a trance. All right, let me put that to the video. All right. So now I want to decide where I want my butterflies to be. And I'm actually going to paint my butterflies white and then dry those and paint over the top of them. That way I don't get any of this background color. Okay. So I'm going to start with white, and I am going to start with the butterfly that, let me flip this. I'm going to start with this butterfly, the one that is going to be on the edge, and I'm going to put it right there. So I'm going to use white, and then I'm going to use my black and draw the body in. Okay. And now I'm going to paint that all in white. That way, and there's another layer back over there. So, and then when I'm actually ready to paint it, I'll be able to do that. All right, and now I'm going to pick my other two locations. I'm actually going to start with black this time. Now, if you're tracing it on, you can most definitely do that. And I'm going to put him, I'm just going to draw a line, a little head, and a couple of antennas. So there's his body. And now I'm going to grab my white. And it's almost like a heart in a sense. So there's one side. There's the other side. And I'm going to round this out. So here we go. And now I'm going to paint it in, and it's okay if I cover up his body because I can put it back in. I'm just going to kind of plant this one for the moment. I'm just painting it in white because that'll make it easier to paint on top of when we're ready to put some color in there. And again, you can paint yours however you want. Yours do not have to look like these. Yours can look like whatever you want. So there's the one. Now I have one more to get on here. I didn't plan that out very well. And so I'm going to put it, I'm going to start with black for the center. I'm just going to put it right here. And you can put more than 3. You can put however many you think you want. All right. So I went ahead and added that one. And we'll fix him up a little better later here. Get his body all the way down there. All right, I am going to use some orange and yellow and start working on them. So I've got some orange and I've got some yellow. Somebody was using yellow earlier, so I have some out here already. Let's see. Looks like it's still good. All right. So now I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to start painting just going to start painting them in. And at this point is when you can make them a little bit nicer, do however you need to. I'm going to grab some orange. I'm realizing I'm really not the best at making butterflies. But that's okay. It's all about the fun of it. All right, so in here now, I'm just going to kind of outline this a little bit. I'm using my black to do that. Outlining it. Like so. And I can put some lines in here. Put his body back in. Okay. So that's that guy. And as mentioned, I'm not the best at doing these. And again, this is my first time painting this also. So just like you, I'm a beginner giving it a try here. And then they have little white dots that they've put on it. So we're going to do the white dots. Okay. So you can design your butterflies however you want. I'm going to paint this one in orange. I'm going to outline this. Black. That in orange, and now we can just make some designs. What's nice about butterflies is all different. All right, now I've got my last one. And we're going to paint up here. Yeah. Transition to orange. So really the options are endless on what you can do with the butterflies. They have a lot of different options. So now we're ready to outline. And just putting random other colors in that I have left over here. Butterfly. Excuse me. Looks like I may need to bring it down a little bit more. Sorry. We'll have to see how this turns out. Didn't turn out quite like I hoped. Gonna dry that one and try to fix it. Our hour is almost up, guys, and we're almost done. Gonna dry this one and try to fix it. Yeah, too wet. Brush was soaking wet. Oh, no. Mm. And just trying to fix this. Right. I think I did it. Okay. So as you can see, this is the finished product of my butterflies. Hopefully yours will look a little better. All right. Well, there's our painting for the month. I'm pretty content with it. And of course, you could add in more of whatever you want. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. Let me flip us back around. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. Here is our finished product. And I'm not real sure about that butterfly down there, but for the most part, I'm pretty content with this. I think it looks pretty good. I may mess around with my flowers a little bit more, thinking about adding in some greenery. I think I'm gonna do that while I've got you here. So I do have some green here that the kiddos left me. So I'm just gonna come in and kind of randomly just put in some greenery. Probably won't even be enough to notice. You could even add some yellow if you wanted. I'll just add some greenery. I'll show you here. And I just doing it exactly the same way I did the flowers. Okay. So I just added in some greenery. Not even sure if you can see it. But that might help with colors. And you can add in whatever colors you want at that point. So, hey, thank you so much, you guys. I'm going to add one more color just because I don't know when to quit. It's a spring type picture. It's a spring type effect. All right, so I just picked some random spots and added in some yellow, which again, that is our painting. If you want to do anything else to it, have fun with it. That's what this class was all about. I really appreciate you guys. I'd love to see these. So if you want to send them to me, that'd be excellent. But until the next time, I will see you in the next painting class. Great job, you guys. You did great. We got through it. See you later.